Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelo love to talk about their family and home life on Live with Kelly and Mark. However, in a recent episode, they began to discuss something a little controversial. When Mark made a current remark about their kids, Kelly suddenly made an interesting comment. She said it might be time they got some lawyers. Here is what Mark said and why Kelly thinks they need to bring lawyers into the situation. Mark Consuelo's talks inheritance on Live. Mark Consuelo and Kelly Ripa discussed various topics on a recent Live with Kelly and Mark episode. Inheritance came up, and the couple discussed some interesting inheritance facts, including when pets inherited someone's estate. Hotel heiress Leona Helmsley died in 2007. She was 87 and left $12 million to her dog, Trouble. Helmsley ignored every member of her family in the will, and Trouble enjoyed a life of luxury. However, Trouble died a few months later, via ABC News. On a side note, a judge blocked part of this, only allowing the dog to inherit $2 million. Mark then mentioned that he might do the same thing with his property concerning his will. However, Kelly shot this down by saying, "You can't leave property to property," seemingly calling a beloved pet property. Mark dismissed this, saying, "I'm leaving everything to Lena, because you want to skip the kids." What is that? Generational skipping. Lena will appreciate it, much more than our kids will appreciate it. Mark Consuelo also said it was a great way to save on taxes by reducing what is left behind. Kelly Ripa also called it a great plan. She continued, saying, "You know what? Let's just cut to the court battle. Let's hire the attorneys now." Kelly and Mark were joking, but their conversation led to more discussions about their kids and their future now that they are all moved out and on their own. Kelly said some controversial advice she was given was not to reach out to communicate with their kids. However, she said it was terrible advice if they wanted a relationship with their kids. "You shouldn't reach out to them with communication. You should let them reach out to you," Kelly said about the advice. "If we waited for that to happen, I guess we'd never hear from said child again." The advice states that sometimes the kids want to make the first move when they leave for college. Kelly asked, "What if they don't make the first move? What if you have to make the first move?" Kelly looked at Mark and said it looked like they were doing it wrong. Mark and Kelly have 3 kids. Michael graduated from New York University in 2020. Lola graduated from New York University Tisch School of the Arts in 2021. Joaquin is a senior at the University of Michigan. What are your thoughts on leaving inheritance to pets instead of kids and grandkids? What about Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelo's talking about communication with kids? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos are no strangers to sharing glimpses of their personal lives on Live with Kelly and Mark, but a recent episode took a surprisingly contentious turn. The couple, known for their playful banter, found themselves in a light-hearted yet provocative discussion about inheritance, parenting, and whether they should lawyer up for future family disputes. Mark Consuelo's jokes about leaving everything to their dog. Kelly warns of a court battle. The conversation began when Mark brought up an unusual inheritance case involving hotel heiress Leona Helmsley. "I'm leaving everything to Lena," Mark declared, referring to the couple's beloved dog, "because you want to skip the kids." What is that? Generational skipping. Lena will appreciate it much more than our kids will. Kelly, ever the quick-witted co-host, fired back with a legal reality check. "You can't leave property to property," she said, referring to pets being considered legal property rather than heirs. But Mark doubled down, arguing that bypassing their children could be a savvy financial move. "It's a great way to save on taxes," he quipped. Though the exchange was clearly in jest, Kelly took it a step further, suggesting they prepare for a future legal showdown. "You know what? Let's just cut to the court battle. Let's hire the attorneys now," she said, laughing. Kelly Ripa slams controversial parenting advice. "We'd never hear from our kids again." The inheritance debate led to a deeper discussion about parenting, specifically how to navigate relationships with their now adult children. Kelly revealed that she had been given some eyebrow-raising advice. "You shouldn't reach out to them with communication. You should let them reach out to you." She didn't hold back in criticizing the suggestion. "If we waited for that to happen, I guess we'd never hear from said child again, Kelly said, rolling her eyes. What if they don't make the first move? What if you have to make the first move? Mark, ever the as Kelly admitted they might be doing it wrong. The couple shares 3 children, Michael, 27, Lola, 22, and Joaquin, 21, all of whom have moved out and are building their own lives. Michael graduated from NYU in 2020, Lola from NYU's Tisch School of the Arts in 2021, and Joaquin is currently a senior at the University of Michigan. Viewers react: pets versus kids, an inheritance, good idea or recipe for drama? The segment quickly ignited reactions online, with fans weighing in on both the inheritance and parenting debates. On leaving money to pets, some viewers found Mark's joke hilarious, while others argued that disinheriting children, even in jest, could send the wrong message. Pets are family, but kids should always come first, one fan wrote. On parenting adult children, many related to Kelly's frustration, agreeing that parents shouldn't have to wait for their kids to initiate contact. Kids get busy, but family is forever. Keep reaching out. Another commented. Could this actually lead to a legal fight? While Kelly and Mark were clearly joking about hiring lawyers, estate planning experts say these kinds of discussions are more common than people think. Pet trusts are legally recognized in many states, and generation-skipping trusts are a real financial strategy, though they're typically used for grandchildren, not dogs. As for their parenting approach, most experts agree that open communication is key, even if it means parents have to make the first move sometimes. Final thoughts. A playful debate with real-life implications. Kelly and Mark's conversation may have been lighthearted, but it touched on real issues many families face: estate planning, generational wealth, and maintaining relationships with grown children. Whether they actually rewrite their wills to favor Lena remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure: if they do, their kids might just have something to say about it. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelo are known for their playful on-air chemistry, but a recent episode of Live with Kelly and Mark took an unexpectedly spicy turn when the couple delved into the controversial topics of inheritance, parenting adult children, and whether their beloved dog, Lena, might one day become their sole heir. Amused by the idea, Mark joked, "I'm leaving everything to Lena. You want to skip the kids, generational skipping, right? Lena will appreciate it much more than our kids ever would." Kelly, never one to let a comment slide, fired back with a legal reality check. "You can't leave property to property," she said, referring to the fact that, in the eyes of the law, pets are considered possessions rather than legal heirs. But Mark wasn't backing down. He argued that bypassing their children could actually be a smart financial move. "It's a great way to save on taxes," he quipped, doubling down on his tongue-in-cheek threat to disinherit their 3 kids. Kelly, ever the pragmatist, took it a step further, jokingly suggesting they should prepare for the inevitable fallout. "Let's just cut to the court battle. Let's hire the attorneys now," she said, laughing. Kelly slams outdated parenting advice. "If we waited for them to call, we'd never hear from them." The inheritance debate naturally led to a deeper discussion about parenting, specifically how to navigate relationships with their now-grown children. Kelly revealed that she'd been given some questionable advice. "You shouldn't reach out to them. You should let them reach out to you." Mark, nodding in agreement, seemed to acknowledge that their parenting style might not align with traditional expectations. The couple's 3 children, Michael, 27, Lola, 22, and Joaquin, 21, have all flown the nest, with Michael and Lola being NYU graduates and Joaquin set to graduate from the University of Michigan soon. While the segment was clearly in jest, estate lawyers confirmed that pet trusts are a real and growing trend. Many states legally recognize provisions for animals, allowing owners to set aside funds for their care.